Hello, my name is Foza Fawehinmi and I'm live on Simple TV. Foza is an award-winning music business executive and lawyer in the African entertainment space, based in Lagos, functioning in 3 different countries. So basically, that's who I am. That's Foza. It's simple. The answer is simple. So coming into the industry, it was really a gray space. It was a land full of opportunities. It was virgin in terms of opportunities for lawyers or music business executives. When I was coming in, it was just a lot of people, many of our industry execs, trying, failing, developing structures, working on structures. There was no template per se. So coming into the industry for me, it was a land filled with opportunities and, structures that were not set in stone yet. So for me, it gave me an opportunity to be able to create something for myself and something for myself. So that was what the industry was like. So there were no many role models, there were no many people doing what I wanted to do. So it was basically a lot of trial and error and modeling myself against people that were not basically here. So that's kind of like the perspective of what the industry looked like before my time. Simply don't read. They don't care enough to read. They don't care enough to know. As an artist, your job or your career is your life. Every other person that comes, the lawyer, the manager, the labels, are all ancillary assistants or conductors helping the driver. The artist is always the driver. However, if you do not outline what you want your life to be like, people would take advantage of that. So as much as there's so many education, when I was starting out, there were not many resources for artists. Now everywhere you turn, music business class, this, entertainment law, this person, that. So if you're still entering into bad contracts this time, it's really your fault, nobody's fault. Then they used to claim that lawyers were scarce, lawyers are expensive, everybody's gatekeeping, there's no knowledge share. Now you have 1.5 data. You can Google it. That's the money that you use to buy Igbo. So you can use it to, buy data and Google. So if you're entering a bad contract, it's really your problem. And most times it's just really knowledge and information. They just refuse to learn and read. Because when you read, you understand that the label is just an assistance to your career, which means that when you sign, you just do not take the money and go and rent a house in Lekki Phase 1 and start living life instead of you working on the product, which is the music, and ensuring that it goes. Most people just sign and just sit down and believe that that's the end. Everybody should do all the work for them except them. And just producing the music or just singing the song no longer cuts it. And it's kind of like the same thing for every sphere of life. Just being talented or having a first degree doesn't cut it anymore. You have to get a master's, you have to get an MBA, So it's not peculiar to you, it's just like that's how life is. You just always have to go the extra mile. That for me is really the problem, because then you don't know, then you start having expectations that are unreal, then everybody starts fighting. So Digital Music Commerce and Exchange Limited is a company that was founded in 2018 by myself and my partner, Oyinkansola. Essentially for us, we saw that IP as a whole, because of our background as IP lawyers and also entertainment lawyers, we saw that the African IP is, I mean, we predicted it's like 5-6 years ago, was positioned to take center stage worldwide. And for us, our biggest fear was, most times when you don't know stories, you don't know where we're coming from, so you actually don't know where you're going to. So a lot of the successes that we see now, a lot of the things that we see happening now, a mirrored effect happened in the 90s and the 80s, and we had all these people in here, the Westerners in here, pumping in money, taking money out. But the problem was, as they were just putting money in and taking money out, not building long-lasting structures to create something that was sustainable. So for us, we saw that was going to repeat itself, and we decided that I think the first step would be to put numerical value on what IP is, because as a country still, or as a continent still, starting from the government down to the citizen, there's still no value as such that is placed on IP. I mean, it's Afrobeats to the world, everybody's, happy, the hype is nice, but the money value to IP is still, the education is still generally lacking. So DMC comes into the space to manage IP, administer IP, exploit IP, value IP, and also to protect IP generally. And when I say IP, I mean film, music, literary works across board. And we're doing this in African countries. So we are established in Nigeria, we work in Ghana, we have representatives we have a company in Tanzania, about to set up in Kenya, and basically just helping both young, both new, and old catalog to succeed in a digital era, whether it's the masters, whether it's the publishing, whether it's the film master, whether it's a derivative of the film. We protect the IP and work it in a digital age to make more revenue in this digital age. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what we do. We just take IP, we milk it, make sure it makes the right money it's supposed to make, and make sure that everybody that contributed to the IP earns from it, essentially. I think for me, it's creating structures. So the SARS Academy is something that I'm extremely proud of. That was collaboration between myself and my partner and SARS. SARS is such a good spot to allow us to collaborate to create something monumental that helps knowledge to transfer and also stay for a period of time. So I'm very big, and a lot of my businesses is very big in transfer of knowledge, transfer of power, transfer of wealth, basically for the creatives in the industry. So for me, my achievements would be the SARS Academy. We've been able to produce producers that are well equipped, that know their rights, and also are topping Billboard charts, producing the biggest songs that Afrobeat has today, producing songs that are Grammy nominated. So that for me is a great achievement. Also would be convincing Lagos State about that, to be able to write IP, into as a form of property that can be willed. And I did that in collaboration with Lola Oyedele, my associate in the law firm. We were able to get Lagos State to give us, a letter of admin based on Dagreen's IP. So that was a great achievement for us as a law firm in general. So the SARS Academy also for me. And I think the last one would be propagating the gospel of music publishing. I think we started that with Greenlight Music Publishing, pushed that agenda for a while and educated producers as to what their rights are and what they're supposed to be earning as producers, and just creating generally a balanced industry in terms of royalties, money, and splits in general. So for me, those achievements are very key and paramount to the goal that my vision or my purpose in the industry is trying to propagate, which is creating sustainable wealth for African creatives. So yeah. One of the things I've learned in business over my years of working is basically understanding what the DNA of a company is, right? So if you, most people will say for small businesses, the CEO mirrors the business practices mirrors who the CEO is, the personality of the CEO. So for example, Apple's DNA is luxury. Apple would not, that's why you see one iPhone is costing $1 million. Androids, a Techno's, for example, DNA is for everybody, So the DNA is very important, understanding the businesses that come here. So I think from that foundation, I personally believe, because of the dynamics of Africa as a whole, even as a Nigerian working in Nigeria, I can't go to Ghana and function properly if I don't have a Ghanaian on my board. Same thing if I don't have a Kenyan on my board, if I don't have Tanzania. Then you are from interlands, far west, you don't understand the culture, you don't understand the nuances. I personally am an advocate for partnerships with the local label. That's what I usually would recommend, because essentially we've managed to make sense out of a jungle, to make some form of money. So when you are coming and you want to, if your real interest, that's why I said DNA, if your real interest is to work with the industry to become better, to make money, then I would always recommend partnership. However, if your real interest is to come and be a shark and continue slave trade, they would not answer you in terms of partnership. So it's one of the biggest things that we lack is knowledge and capacity. So when there's an introduction of international capacity, I always expect that the first thing is to do knowledge transfer and capacity building. So for me, as a person individually, I'm more for partnerships, joint ventures, capacity building, knowledge transfer. But business-wise, I don't know. A lot of the DNAs of a lot of the people coming are not exactly pan to that. So. I personally believe that record label is not going anywhere for at least another 50 years maybe. And that's because as businesses, they would always adapt. They would always shape-shift. I mean, in the wake of everybody shouting, oh, there's DIY, everybody's DIY, everybody's getting DIY, all the money that you people are collecting from is still from the same pool of people that own the labels, just in different names. So all your independent distributors are owned by the labels. So what are we saying? The deals are still pseudo-label-like. And the thing is, because the music industry as a whole is very capital intensive, extremely capital intensive. So for us here in Africa, DIY is still very less than 1% that can actually afford to do that. Because one, the general landscape of Africa is hunger. You cannot be telling me that you want to DIY when I've not been able to eat. And to produce one song is 500K. How do I want to maintain DIY? I'm hungry, and that's the reality of things. We should never shy away from that, right? I know that maybe the gospel of DIY works more for our more established acts, which I would totally recommend because the business is stable, their cash flow is stable. But for the younger guys, and which is still 99% of the industry, record labels are not going anywhere. That's the truth. What's going to change is the bargaining system and the negotiation system, because now people are more informed. the reason why we had very unfair or capitalist situation was because people were not informed. Now a lot of people are more informed and can negotiate on better leverage. So I personally think that record labels will still be here for another at least 20 years, at least in Africa, sha. I mean, it's already happening and we're seeing the colossal disaster of that. You can't skip artist development. You can't, you can't. And it shows. And the unfortunate thing for you is that, history will show that when an artist is going through, development, they play to smaller crowds, they are inside interns, stage development, media development and all that. So they make a lot of their mistakes in the back room so that the moment you have that one opportunity, it's like magic, right? But now social media has just made everybody their own boss. So as much as for me generally, as much as you take up from social media, once again, social media you have access to, you also have access to Google to do like a lot of artist development. Like it's just sad you see someone with a very big song and they get on stage and everybody's like, oh, now you sing this song, all right, and he's performing and it's just like, I think I'll just rather listen to it on Spotify. And that's a problem because live performance is still the highest revenue stream. So if people are not, and I think that's one of the things for us here in Nigeria still is that we've not mastered, a lot of the artists or a lot of our entertainers have not mastered the arts of entertaining. Because for you to convince me to pay 50,000 naira to come and experience something, I want to leave with a memory. We're still lacking in creating proper experiences for people. They will also argue the economics of ticketing and cost of production of shows and that, but also the quality of experience that is created. Like when I leave the show, do I want to go back to stream your music? Do I want to spend the entire week raving to my friends that, oh my God, this show was lit. Like, this is how I felt in this moment. And that level of experience comes from constant practice, which is embedded in artist development. Now, see a lot of these guys, you go for a show, they're not even in sync with the band. They miss one line, they're flustered on stage. It's like really like artist development you can't and shouldn't skip. I don't care whether you have 1 billion views on TikTok. Just help us because we're paying for that experience, so just help us. Then for me, it used to be Twitter trends. So someone is releasing music today. Hashtag, no, wait. Let me remember it. It goes something like, Kelechi has twins. Hashtag, Mayo, no, let me do it again. Kelechi just gave birth to two twins. Hashtag, Simple by Richard is out now. What's that? And people used to pay like mad money then just for Twitter trends. Crazy. And you're looking at it like, how does this song relate to Kelechi has two twins? Why? Like you click on the Twitter trend and just see like nonsense going on there. That pissed me off. That used to piss me off a lot. And those people made money. I should have quickly just joined them. Just do that. But now, I think another trend you should just be really just, I want to blow. That line used to annoy me a lot. What do you want? I just want to blow. Okay, Transformer. Like, cool, man. I think those two trends were very overrated. I just want to blow. That we have a lot of money. And we always have tickets to all the shows. We don't have tickets to the shows. We don't have tickets to the film premiere. Sometimes they even forget that you worked on the project. So don't come and be calling me and be saying, Foza, I want to go for this person's show. I'm not going to answer you because me too, I'm struggling for tickets. And I don't, just because you see me snapping with a celebrity, does not mean that they've given me, 10% of the endorsement deal they just signed. Don't be deceived. It's a jungle. What was that new song? Oh, Lua, your new trenches. It's literally what's happening right now. So yeah, those two things. And people just feel like we always have fun. I mean, our job is fun. I mean, my job is fun. I don't know about others. But it's not as fun as it is. Like yesterday, I worked till 3 a.m. because I had to coordinate and ensure that a client arrived at, a show that it was booked for. And because I know that client, sometimes, the head can, so I had to stay awake while working to make sure, where are you? Because you cannot breach this contract, we cannot refund this money because you have spent it. So go for that thing. I woke up this morning, barrage of emails, people are going crazy in my emails, and I had to come here. So it's like, it's not that fun. We're constantly tired. It's like, you see me at the club, I'm not there because I want to have fun. I'm there because I'm looking like, please, this boy or this girl don't misbehave tonight because I don't want press release, or just checking and ensuring that someone is not Snapchatting or supposed to be private, outside. So it's like, you're always constantly on guard. So the misconception that we're always having fun is half true. I mean, we get to travel if you insert yourself. If you don't insert yourself, they don't care about you. In fact, relegation is mostly what they do. Is when they now fall into trouble, they now be like, the law. But that's it. Don't be deceived, guys. First of all, generally, the legal industry is a struggle. When Skibby said you're meaning trenches, that's our industry, first of all. So now taking this subset, because the artists, I also kind of feel like it's the way you create your business, because money was smaller, the pot was smaller, it was harder for lawyers to get into the mix. So a lot of us, when we first started, decided to make our own revenue. So literally the way I survived in the industry was, I will tell you, I'll make you money and I'll take my money, because they always had problem paying me from whatever they were making now, because their arguments would be, well, I've been making this money before you came, so why? This should also be clear that the industry is very cutthroat, very greedy, very bullish and sharkish. If you're coming in, being objective and being equal, and being fair, you still be like broke like us, because they don't send you. People out there just cutting people, signing or doing the most hellish deals that you're just like, how sweet. But now it's getting better. I mean, I see some invoices from law firms. I'm just like, wow, you guys are already charging this. This is what I'm charging 5 years, 6 years into the business. So when I started seeing it, I said, Foza, have your sense. Me too, I double my invoice. And people are paying, so they have money now. It's a good time to come into the industry. They have money. I typically just enjoy working with creatives that have foresight and are aligned to building sustainable wealth. Because if you're someone that your purpose or vision really is to create for 10 years, 5 years, it's hard for you to work with someone that just wants to blow. So I typically don't work with people that want to blow. So my best kind of deals are deals that probably take you 2 years. So I can be on one conversation for 2 to 3 years, working on projections, working on the value. Sometimes you pitch to someone and they tell you, exactly ready for investments, go back and do this. It takes you another 1 year to do that. For me, the kind of deals I would want to strike going forward are deals that would be listed on stock exchange. So companies, that would be listed on stock exchange, and deals with IP, clients that their brands, I enjoy working with clients that their brands are Pan-African and also innovative in terms of exploiting and exploring IP as such. So those are the kind of people I like working with. Business managers that understand truly and think outside the box and use IP, in very innovative ways. So if you want to blow, don't come to me. But if you want to be wealthy, holla. Thank you for that question, because now election is coming next year. They'll come and give some of you like 100K to come and perform at rally. You collect it. I know say you should not collect it, though. It's your tax money. Collect it. However, do us favor, people like us that were not popular, we're not celebrities, we don't have status. Those politicians are not really going to come to us. They're going to come to talk to you. So you might as well just ask them that, what are they doing about the Copyright Act? They should help you put together proper structure and provide like amenities and enforcement structures for trademark, copyright, make the process seamless, make enforcement better. Once policies on IP laws are sorted properly and the enforcement part of it, we're going to have a very fulfilling time as an industry. So I think starting with that first. Also, because our music is consumed on the global stage, and like, for example, one of the things that bother us a lot is when you're receiving money from your aggregators, there's a whooping 30% that goes because we don't have treaties, between the US and Nigeria as regards tax. So from source, the US will remove 30% first of the money. So imagine you made like $100, 30% first, because you are non, and your country does not have like we call it something treaty, I've forgotten, a bilateral treaty, on that. So imagine, some of us have been forced to, I make $100, you are removing the $30. $100 is how much now? Like 57K. So it's hard. So those kind of things are what we would need. Policies that take into consideration globalization. And it's only people that understand, that have worked with IP and created business. Those are the people that we need to be consultants to our legislators. And so when you have the opportunity, recommend people that actually know. Just don't go and be snapping picture in House of Rep and just post it on your Instagram. We don't care about that anymore. Right now, we're fighting for our lives. We're fighting to survive. And if it's, that it's only this music that you're singing, because if you tell someone you're going to do a Greek, they've told you you're going to be doing a Greek for 8 years. None of you went back to do it. And this music. So when you have opportunities to like people that like your legislators friends, your governor friends, your senator friends, whatever, invite people that that have this knowledge to have conversations with them and talk to them. Those are the little things you can do. But generally, government right now, one of the things I really love them to do is to improve on education policies and also to set infrastructures, financial infrastructures, not giving money to people. I'm not saying give money, I'm saying set financial structures that help. Something like our banking policies, specifically for like the creative industry, that we can use IP as collateral for loans. These are the things that we need to have conversations about. Not you're signing an ambassador for 500 million, one ambassador for like, hundreds of millions. That's not what we need. We need to be able to know that I can go to the bank and put my album and collect money to promote it. That's what we need. So we need to sit down and figure that out. Don't be giving us all that end of the year party. It's not working out anymore. I just think essentially is whoever is giving solution makes the money. That's just the rule of money. If you are providing a solution en masse, you make more money. It's not necessarily the person that is most talented. It's just the person providing the best solution. So that's it. That's the person that has the largest share. It's going to keep moving. It's going to keep rotating. It's going to keep changing as the world, enters into digitalization and globalization, and where there's wars and rumors of wars. So it's going to keep changing. So the thing is, really, my own philosophy is at every point in time, what solution are you providing, and how is that solution valued? That's how you know who controls what, essentially. So for us, it's an interesting time. I mean, there's so many. One of the things I'm excited about is that there are a couple of people documenting the story history. Because one of the things as Africans that we always miss is forgetting to document. So history is lost. There's this argument going on that not every something is Afrobeat or whatever. I mean, I've been on boards, international awards ceremony boards, where we've had this argument, and the argument they would tell you is volume, the metadata, this, that. There's so many technicalities to creating or sustaining a genre as it is. So for us right now, Afrobeats is like the umbrella of it. And people are angry, people don't like, because they're like, oh, we have Ote, we have this, we have Juju, and we have that. And one of the things I've come to realize is that it's going to be like that for a while until we grow. Now we have the influence, right? What we need to grow is power, power and money. Because once you have power, money, and influence, you can change narratives, you can implement things. So we're working on the money now. The power, we're working also. But the influence is there already. So fret not. Afrobeats is here to stay to the world. But it's an interesting time. I love it. Because I work a lot with producers, so I always know the next sound that is coming, or I'm privileged to work with the next people pushing the sound. So for me, it's always like, you'll be surprised at the element of talent. And I'm just not talking Nigeria. I spent like a month in Ghana last year, and I was like, spent a month in Kenya, and I was like, whoa. So it's an interesting time, and there's opportunities, mad opportunities. Right now, the influence has gone ahead. Shout out to the new school boys, that pushing that. Now it's the money and the power that we're working on. So, yeah. Badass boy. What I like to be remembered for, basically just creating sustainable wealth. Whatever industry I'm in, it's just to create sustainable wealth. Because what sustainable wealth does is, one, everybody in that community is stable, and you've created generation of wealth. I want to be remembered for creating systems that work, systems that people can transition through. I don't want a system that is toxic, a system that is stagnant, that you can't transfer power. Those are the things. And I also want to be remembered for being the damn life of the party, turn up queen, and the serious person. I don't know how that's going to mix, but yeah. And I also want to be remembered that I lived life and I died empty. So if today I wake up and I say, I want to go for Big Brother, I'm not going to be looking at it and say, because I'm a lawyer, I don't want to go. Or tomorrow if I say, I want to go and live in Algeria, I can pack my load and go there and live for a month and come back. And I learned that from Tosin Bucknor, God rest her soul. Tosin would wake up then and say, Foza, I want to write poems today. Cool. Next morning, I want to act. And she did everything. Everything she wanted to do, everything she said she wanted to do. She didn't care whether the audience would say, oh, you're already an artist, don't be an actor. Oh, why are you going to this? Oh, why you see some like Jessie J. When she was Jessie J, went to China and she did a music contest. And everybody was like, oh, why would you do that? But she wanted to do it. She wanted to live life. Like, I want to live life on my own terms, and I know that everything that is within me as a person, I gave it to the world on my own terms, not on people's terms. I want to die empty. I want that at my graveside, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, she was so lit and she died empty. Hello, my name is Foza Fawehinmi. Keep watching Simple TV. I don't know what I'm doing, but just keep watching Simple TV.